This is the B Savage podcast. I am the Brilliant Savage, and I will be doing what I call scrolling on TikTok. But it's not just TikToks that I'll be watching. Also be watching videos from Instagram and other social media platforms, including Red Note and X, psych, Twitter. But yeah, so let's get going.
I've just gotten word that Joy Reid is out at MSNBC, so I'm saying goodbye to one of the biggest hacks, the biggest racists, and the biggest losers to ever disgrace the cable news.
Rob Smith. I'm talking to you, young man, because clearly you're young and you don't know how the world works. I know you're a vet. I know you're part of the alphabet mafia. I say lovingly because I have family and friends in that. But this constant attack of black folks, you really need to stop because we have receipts, dude. We have receipts. We have receipts of you pandering for a group of people that don't like you. How does it feel to rock with the 311s? How does it feel to be in a group, called the Triple Ks that can't stand you? I always look at creators like him and I wonder why they do what they do, because there's not enough money in the world to sell out my soul, especially in this day and age. So what are you doing, sir? Because we have this. Wait. What was that?
The biggest racist and the biggest losers.
He just said the biggest losers to ever disgrace a cable news set. Yeah, he went on cable TV and complained about this.
Sayonara, Joy.
What does that say? Black gay Republican heckled with slurs at MAGA event. Yet he has the audacity, the caucasity to still come out here and pander to a group of people who cannot stand him. A group of people who would rather he probably didn't exist. I think that's sad. And I think it's kind of apropos that, it's kind of meta that Francesca is singing this song, and it's just kind of like covering so many bases for so many people like Mr. Smith here. But on with the show.
Never thought celebrities would eat my face.
Let me fix my bow tie.
These are the other people I'm talking about. Now, before we continue with this show, I have to say that what we're covering in this particular show is a little bit of Joy Reid, a little bit of Elon Musk, and just stuff concerning me as a West Indian American, as a brown American, Black American in this country. It's very, very scary to have lived through the type of life that I lived through, only to see people like this pandering for the people who had no problem committing such heinous crimes against our ancestors. But, he's happy he's at the White House. Okay.
We back in here. We waiting on President Donald J. Trump. Let's go. Yeah. Big time. I look so good in the red.
Here at the Black History
I think this
Month
is
celebration
the
at
Tatum
the
guy.
White House.
All I know is that this is another dude that, he rubbed me the wrong way. Oh, let's back it up a little bit. I went back too far. Didn't
Here at the Black History Month.
Didn't this woman here? Isn't she one half of that group, that R&B group, Diamond and Silk, or Silk and Diamond or something, and one of them passed away because the ancestors took them for dishonoring their people?
Celebration at the
One of those, right?
White House. Oh yeah. And hey, everybody here, Cash Patel has been confirmed
which heads, sir, are you talking about? Which heads, sir, are you talking about? Because I have some questions. What heads do you want to roll and why? Why are you so concerned about these heads rolling, sir?
Cash. I know you got the receipts. Hold them mother suckers accountable.
Oh, and this is Pastor, what's his name? You'll see in the next clip. Yeah, they had the nerve to hold this like an effigy of this man up at the White House, but he had a response to that one.
Yeah, that's right. Jamal, yeah, that's right.
Been praying for me all week. You've been nervous all week, but I ain't afraid of the spooks that sat at the door. These runaway slaves hiding in the White House gonna throw my picture up thinking that I'm gonna be afraid. If you got real courage, don't show my picture. Show the picture of the one that fired the black Joint Chief of Staff from the military. If you gonna show a picture of the CEO of Target, Walmart, McDonald's, and Amazon that does not recognize black dollars or black business. If you gonna put up a picture of the state legislators in Florida that are banning black bullshit. You gonna put up
That's
the
right.
picture of the one who is stealing classified information from the IRS and Social Security. If you gonna put up a picture of those that don't want your mama to pay $35 for insulin and your child to pay $35 for inhaler. If you gonna put up a picture of those that are jailing children and separating families. I ain't ever scared. In case you forgot,
Shots
I'm on the west
fired.
side of Baltimore. If you got a problem, pull up on me.
Shots fired on Eastern Parkway. He said, "Put up on me." I have
Big
to say
news.
this before we go to the next clip with Megyn Kelly. I don't know much about that pastor, so I can't really say. People from the area are saying that he's not that good of a person. I don't know. Either way, this split among black people, and it's not a big split because clearly the polls show that black men and black women were mostly aligned in their vote for Kamala in November. And even though Trump admitted with his own words that it was rigged, we still have to deal with him as president of the United States because there's no way to deal with someone rigging the presidency. That's been happening, as far as I know, since the Bushes. Probably even before that with Nixon. So, but that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is that this supposed divide among black people is not as big as the media is trying to make it out to be, right? For the most part, black people, we got the assignment. We know the assignment. We executed the assignment. It was everyone else who didn't know what the assignment was. So this is why, we have Latinos. We have Latinos who did not know the assignment and, overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We still have Latinos. There's a little Puerto Rican girl going around, Latinos were down, thinking it's a joke, but she's an attention seeker. You could tell, right? The point I'm trying to make is when those of us in the black community who are aligned, we see nonsense like what we saw with this and this and even this man here, right? We understand what side we're on both sides, right? We know what side we're on, right? There's a mutual I have on TikTok. Her last name is Lambert. I can't remember her first name. Pretty white girl, blonde hair, like Rubia, right? Blue eyes, your traditional, thought of a pretty white girl, Americana. And she has some stuff to say about using comedy as a way to get across your message. And for me, right, as a former amateur comedian, I think she's absolutely right. But I think that takes a whole lot of more work when you come from the Black community, because there's so much that we have to deal with. Not so much with those of us who are aligned, but those of us who see nonsense like this and this, and we're like, what happened? Like, did you not get enough hugs as a child? Did you get spanked a little too much and now you hate Black people? Did a Black woman break your heart? Did a Black man break your heart? What happened? Because clearly, you know, you're doing a little too much, and it's not good. It's not good. It's like these people don't remember what happened to the Republican thug or Herman Cain or the other half of the group, Diamond and Silk, right? These people, in my opinion, they got taken by the ancestors for the tomfoolery, for the fuckery. You're out here doing stuff against your own people, not just your own people, but all people in general, when you should know better.
Tonight will be Joy Reid's final show on MSNBC. Single tear, white woman tears happening right here, Joy. She was officially fired over the weekend because
Megan? I do recall you having a show that lasted about like the length of a baby spit. Like, okay.
she's a racist,
But
horrible news anchor
let's roll
with
that
no
back.
ratings.
Let's roll that back.
I'm over the weekend because tonight will be Joy Reid's final show on MSNBC. Single tear, white woman tears happening right here, Joy. She was officially fired over the weekend because she's a racist, horrible news anchor with no ratings. And I'm so torn. Oh, Victor, I'm so torn. You know, I'm thrilled she's gone. She literally was the most racist person on television. Her and her most favorite guest, Eli Mistel, or Ellie
was
Mistel.
the most racist. Have you looked in the mirror, Megan? I'm just asking, because the level of caucasity that you have perpetrated on the air as a journalist and an anchor, were you even an anchor? I'm not sure. But on the air is legendary. The stuff that you have done and said about other races. Would you like me to bring up Santa Claus and how Santa Claus is white to you, but you don't know that it came from St. Nicholas, and St. Nicholas, the real St. Nicholas, I believe was actually Turkish, maybe? I might be wrong on that, but he definitely was not what you would call white. And then how your reaction to that was very much like, no, it's not. Would she's the most racist, Megan? Are you sure? 'Cause I don't think you want me to go to the videotape and pull receipts. That would be.
In 2017, longtime Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly was hired by NBC with her new daytime talk show, Megyn Kelly Today, to replace the third hour of the network's Today. Kelly's show had only been on the air for a few weeks when an on-air discussion of blackface and Halloween costumes went off the rails after Kelly declared,
"Back when I was a kid, that was okay."
Kelly's comments were instantly hit with backlash and reminders that just a few years earlier, she insisted on Fox News that Santa and Jesus are white. Kelly opened the following day's show by stating,
And I want to begin with 2 words. I'm sorry.
The apology, however, did little to quell the controversy. After she was dumped by her agents, it was reported that NBC had canceled the show.
So they deserve 100% both to be fired. But, you know, it's like, we won't have her to kick around anymore. And there's a little sadness in that.
She's sad that she no longer has a nemesis. I get the feeling that Joy Reid will be okay. I think she might end up going the route of Roland Martin, Don Lemon, and you yourself, Megyn Kelly. Please have the day you deserve. Now, Don Lemon.
So let me just say to Megyn Kelly, in my 30-some years as a journalist and my 50-some years as a person of color, go f*** yourself. Okay?
I was a trader for a long time, and I worked with a much older trader. In the book, it's called JB. He had a good quote about...
This next clip is interesting because it goes into basically bubbles. You know, how people in this country are affected by either the manufactured bubbles or the bubbles that are created by just negligence, i.e. the internet bubble and the housing crisis that happened in '08. And it's a funny thing because my mom handled the pinks for like banks like Countrywide, I believe it was, and some other banks at her job where she was a director. And yeah, it was yeah, this is an interesting clip.
These kinds of opinions. He said, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. Now listen, I don't get paid to have opinions, okay? I was one of the best paid and most successful traders in the world, for one of the biggest banks in the world. I put bets. I place bets. And I've been betting for 14 years that the working class in my country and the working class in your country will collapse into desperate, worsening poverty year after year. I'm a multimillionaire from doing that, from betting on that. Traders message me every day. They say what's going to happen. I say it's going to get worse. I've been betting on it since the beginning of COVID. I've made millions on it. All the best traders know. Let me explain to you how economics works, all right? You guys work in media, all right? I work for Citibank. You call up Citibank and you say, I want an opinion on what's going to happen to the economy. They pay me £2 million a year. Did they give me the phone? No, they don't. Kids like me don't get the phone. We get the money, okay? I shouldn't be here. Doesn't make no sense for me to have a YouTube channel. Doesn't make no sense for me to be here. I got paid millions of dollars a year to bet on the collapse of your working class, okay? I walked away to come here on this show for free because I want to tell the public, the American people, this gets worse. This gets worse. Well, I'm not just saying it, I'm betting on it.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So explain what you mean. So when you say you've been betting on it...
Okay, right. So I started...
Explain to people who don't know the system.
So this is where it gets interesting, right? Because he starts to talk about his experience in this space, about betting against the working class. Now, he worked for a bank. He claims he worked for a bank. I don't know. But I do know that I worked, you know, I was at JP Morgan twice. I was there as an intern when I was like a kid at 17. And then I was there again for a short time, for about, I'd say 6 months to a year, like when I was fresh out of college. And I used to see guys like this. I was there. I was at JP Morgan Chase, and I was at Oppenheimer, CBIC Oppenheimer, I think it was called. Oppenheimer doesn't exist anymore. It got swallowed by another firm. But I used to see these guys like all the time walking around. These were the guys who would basically kind of like do like, they're like analysts, right? They would do like these specific analysis on what was going to happen. It was like predictive analysis of what was going to happen in the country and how best should the banks hedge their bets against certain outcomes, predicted outcomes. For example, if you guys ever seen a movie called The Big Short, it kind of goes into that. And then there's another one called Margin Call. They both like explain this. But he was one of those type of analysts, the analysts that you see in those movies.
I started working in 2008, which, as you all know, is the Lehman crisis. Right. The collapse of the economy. And my job...
And my mom had a meeting with Lehman Brothers. They tried to hire my mom to be at Lehman Brothers, but I'll get into that after the clip.
Big to fail.
My job was betting on interest rates. As you'll know, in 2008, all the interest rates went to zero. Then my job is, when will the interest rates come back up? Which is kind of a proxy for when will the economy recover. I'll give you a history lesson on it, right? In 2008, everybody said 2009. In 2009, they said 2010. In 2010, they said 2011. Every single year, up until 2020, they said rates will recover next year, until 2020, when they finally said rates will stay zero forever. We're bad at this. We're bad at this, okay? I'm fucking good at this, all right? Why did interest rates not recover after 2008? Because people weren't spending money. Zero interest rates are supposed to get people spending. Why did zero interest rates not get people spending? I had the radical idea of going out and asking people, what do you think people say when I ask them, why aren't you spending more money? What do you think people say?
They're not spending more money because they probably don't have more money.
Yeah. And when I looked at their financial situations, what I saw, this is in early 2010s, I was in my mid-20s, I saw a generation of people, my parents' generation, who owned property, and another generation of people, their kids, my generation, who will never own property. The middle class are losing their homes, the middle class are losing their wealth. Where is that wealth going? Where is that wealth
And your
going?
argument is it's going just to the super rich.
Where else?
So they're getting... So Dave, I mean...
Well, I think it's important to make a distinction that, first off, what's happening in your...
Here comes the spin doctor now. Here comes the guy. This is the hired show. I don't know who this guy is. But here comes the hired show. And he's going to try to spin what the other gentleman just went and said. And, you know, and try to make it seem like it's not really that bad when it really is. Piers Morgan, I really didn't like him when he first came out. He was very not a good person, in my opinion. But recently, he's been having people on his show that it's more balanced now. He kind of reminds me of when Glenn Beck used to be on Fox News back in the day. But yeah. Watch what this guy says. Watch what he does.
Country and our country are not exactly the same, but largely over the last day.
We're going to play that over again. Right? And I want you to not only hear what he's saying, but watch the other guy's reaction. The guy who went and told us, hey, this is bad and it's going to get worse. Watch this.
Decade until the last month where we now have Donald Trump, both of our countries have been going in the direction of more big government, more regulation, more of the middle management nonsense that Elon Musk is uncovering every day. So I would be for removing as much of that as possible, removing as much of the waste. I mean, we are now seeing with USAID and everything else that Elon is uncovering with Doge, that the amount of waste and absolute fraud, and I would say criminal negligence in the system is a huge root of it. So I agree.
Yeah.
So again, I agree with some of the symptoms you're talking about for sure.
Do you see how this man is moving? He wants to tell that guy to shut up. He wants to tell him, I've dealt with people like you before, and the people like you who don't listen to people like me end up broke.
The question is the diagnosis. So how do you then say to the person that can't afford the house, how do you afford a house? Well, one way you might want to do it is I would, if I was in charge of your country or mine, I would lower taxes for everybody. I would do a flat tax for everybody. Make sure so whether you're a billionaire or whether you make $100,000 or 75 grand, whatever it might be, you're going to pay whatever the number is. We can all agree on the number. Let's say it's 10%. The billionaire is still paying way more in taxes. But this type of class warfare that we've been caught up in, where the common phrase always is, well, they have to pay their fair share. Well, who decides what the fair share is? And guess what? Someone will always want more of your money.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't like opinions. I'm not really interested in opinions. I make predictions. What you've said you want is what you're going to get, right? Because this is the policy of the new government. Do you think living standards for your average working class American are going to improve?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. That's good. Put this on YouTube.
There's the lie. There's the lie. That is the lie. And that's the lie that they have people believing over and over again. He knows it's not going to get better, right? And it hasn't gotten better. If you look at statistics in the past 40 years, right, since Reagan's trickle-down economics, right, things have steadily gotten worse for the middle and lower class, period. And things have gotten really good for people in the upper echelons, right? And in the top 5%. Really, really good. You know? But $1 million doesn't go as far as it used to even 10, 15 years ago. Right? $1 million is crazy. The craziest thing I heard was I saw one kid say $1 million means you're still poor. $1 million. Still poor. So you have to realize that it hasn't gotten better for the working and middle class. It has not at all. And what we have to understand is Reagan's trickle-down economics, his trickonomics, failed. Bill Clinton's, besides balancing the budget, which was phenomenal, right? But Bill Clinton, what his government was able to achieve was with the balancing of the budget was later reversed. And even with that brief prosperity that the country had, come 2020, we had to deal with not 2020, come 2000, we had to deal with the bubble. And that, the bubble I'm talking about at that time was the internet bubble, right? But one of the things that happened during Clinton's administration was the minimum wage went up. But one of the bad things that's happened since then is it hasn't gone up since. Every time someone tries to pass a bill for the minimum wage to go up, here comes the lobbyists and they start fighting to keep the minimum wage where it's at. Some people want to reduce the minimum wage. That's how crazy it is, because they want to have the people in this country in perpetual debt, which is crazy. And then they turn around and say stuff like, communism is bad. Don't look at China. But if one thing that we've learned from looking at Red Note and seeing how China really is, China is thriving and the United States is not. We are in debt to China. One of the countries that we're probably most in debt to is China. China is buying up land in the United States. They're buying up farmland. They're buying up land and islands in the Caribbean. Have the day you deserve, everyone. Blessings.